Hello everybody and welcome to this first episode of Daedalus Plays with Electronics. Now if you've seen my channel update video, you know I've had a little bit of problems with my computer, this iMac right here. If you haven't seen it, in short, it broke. I came home one day and it wouldn't switch on anymore. And I'm guessing the power supply may have failed. I'm not exactly sure. I did send it off for repair, but the company that was supposed to repair it just left it on a shelf for a month. And when I called them up and asked if anything was happening about it, they just told me that they could confirm that yes, the power supply had indeed failed, but there was also another problem, and they couldn't figure out what it was and couldn't fix it. And they suggested to just throw the whole machine away. I of course did not accept that, and I asked them to just return the Mac to me. And when it came back, it was in this condition. It has scratches on the back, and I can tell that they've not done anything to it. They've just not even opened it up to see what the problem was. So although it may be a little bit advanced for a first project on this brand new series of Daedalus Plays with Electronics, I do desperately need some of the items I still have on the hard drive inside this machine. So I am going to attempt to open this up and at least salvage the hard drive, and maybe I can see if indeed the power supply has failed. I don't really have high hopes for it. I don't think I can fix it. Of course I could get a replacement power supply. I think they go for about $150 nowadays. At least if I do get the hard drive out, I can use my current brand new replacement computer to just continue making videos. Now there is a website called ifixit.com, and they've got detailed guides on fixing and repairing your electronics, and they've also got a guide for this iMac. So I'll sort of try and follow that guide, but I must say I am a little bit wary about this repair, because to get inside this machine you have to take the screen off, the actual display. The whole back of it is just aluminium. You can't get in it, there's nothing on the bottom, no screws or anything. The only way inside this machine is to take off the screen and then you're basically inside. The guides on iFixit, they all start with how to take the screen off, and just to take that display off they've got it detailed in 23 steps. So that tells me that it is a little bit complicated, and they're using specialized tools like a sort of pizza slicer that can go in between the display and the aluminium back, and then you can try and pry out the adhesive tape that's holding the display in place. And I don't really have any of the tools that they're using. Of course I could order them, but I just want to get this done quick. So I've got to do it with the tools I've got at hand. So, and if that doesn't look complicated enough yet, I've got an extra problem, and that's that there is a massive crack in the front of this screen. That's actually not the problem. It's not why it broke. That happened way earlier, but it never got in my way because it's not really in the actual screen area. It's just right on the corner there, so it didn't really matter to me. But if I have to get in this machine, I have to take this screen off, and that may cause a problem. Now, I do believe that this is actual glass. It's not plastic or anything. And as far as I know, that glass is actually fused with the display. So I don't know what's going to happen with all these little cracks and bits, if they are actually stuck to the display, in which case they might stay relatively in place, or if it's going to shatter all over the place and I've got glass everywhere. The one positive thing about it though is that because of this crack there is now a tiny little gap right here in the corner, and I might be able to get a credit card sized piece of plastic and get that in there and try to wiggle into that gap and try to lift the screen off that way. So I guess that's going to be step number one, is get a piece of plastic like a credit card and try and get this whole screen off. So I suggest we get going. Right, so here we go. Try and get that in there. I'm being careful around this corner because of that glass. Don't want it to shatter. It sounds a bit gritty in there. I can see tiny little pieces of glass. I think the top's alright. There's not that much there, so if I just try to push this in like that, that might work. It's difficult to see because it's so small. There we go. Got a bit more movement in there. Let's do that again. And there is a webcam right there in the middle. So I have to be careful not to stick this card in too deep and damage that webcam module. But I'm hoping it will sort of stop before I hit it, like it will offer me a bit more resistance. Now because I stopped, it's not going anymore, so I'll have to try that again. Made it through at least once. I think that may have loosened it up just a little bit. Now this is a very old card I'm using. Of course you do not want to use your actual current credit card to do this, because I'm thinking it's going to damage it quite a bit. But that's okay. Definitely does not sound very healthy. Okay, I'm not sure if going down here is really going to work, because once I reach this point right here, the gap sort of closes in and I can't really get my card in there, and I can see that this glass does appear to be moving a little bit. Yeah, I can see bits of glass actually falling off now. Okay, what I'm thinking of doing is just trying to open it up more from this side here, because this I think is really going to shatter all that glass right off, and that's not going to be good. So I'm trying to get it maybe I should try to go down here and then down this side, because there's nothing wrong with that side. So let's just turn this around. Oh, it definitely is easier to move that card down there now. Oh yeah, I can feel that going. Look, it goes in right there. I can sort of get my nails in between, then I can slide the card in, and it goes down easily down in there. That is much easier than I thought it would be. That's definitely opening up down in there. So I think the top and this side are pretty much ready to come off. Now it's just trying to get this corner off, and I'm very worried about that glass. Being really careful now around this corner. So actually, if I just put this down on its back, so I've pretty much got the top and this side done. I would like to get my card under there. Maybe just even go from this corner out. Try to lift it, but I'm really scared that that corner with the broken glass is going to break. Let's try that from this side. There we go. This might actually do something, although yeah, I can sort of pull my card through like that, and it seems that that is indeed getting some of that adhesive underneath to loosen up. Let's try that again. Yeah, this is not in the instructions on how to fix your Mac. It's probably easier if you've got a Mac with a screen that's completely intact to just go around the outside with the pizza slicer tool, and then you can sort of wedge the screen up from the top and then loosen this adhesive a bit easier from the inside. But because I can't get this side off really, I'm gonna have to try it like this. It does seem to get there a little bit. I mean, it is really cutting into my card there, but like I said, that's an old card and can't use it anymore anyway, so. Okay, yeah, that does seem to go right in there now. If I sort of try and pull the screen off now. And get the card under there. I think that might just do it. Now I would try and just lift the whole screen off, but I'm still worried about that cracked area there. So what I think I'll do is just continue on like this. Go down here with my card and then go round the corner, sort of try to. Just so I can get it in there, just like that. Oh, don't need them yet. There we go, there we go. Okay, that looks like that screen might be loose now. Yeah, I can see that corner right there moving. So basically the screen is completely loose now, except for that corner. You can see it's sort of moving. If I just wiggle it around like this, it might be okay. Until that adhesive stops sticking to the glass. And there we go. And that is the screen loose now. I have to be careful because it is still attached inside to connectors. So I can lift this up now and you can see inside, and right there the screen is still connected. So I'm going to have to try pull those connectors out. That's one. just need to lift that up and then I can pull it out. And we are in. There we go, that's the screen taken off. And that glass held surprisingly well. But yeah, it does look like there is something on the back there that is keeping it together. So that's good. I will carefully put this display on the side because I won't need it. And then we can have a look inside this iMac, which is surprisingly light without the display on. And there we go. That is what that looks like. So obviously here is the hard drive, and that's the one I want to take out. It's held in place by these two brackets on the sides, and they've got 4 Torx screws. If I remember right from the guides from iFixit, these screws have different lengths as well, so I need to make sure to remember which one goes where in case I ever want to put it back. And then this board here at the bottom is the actual power supply. So if that has failed, which what I think is what happened, then that's where I should be able to find a fault. Then again, I don't really have much tools to actually diagnose a problem. I mean, I've got a really cheap multimeter, so I can sort of measure voltages, I suppose. I don't know if that is going to be enough, but we'll see. My first priority is to get this hard drive out, get it into an external enclosure and connect it to my replacement Mac so I can get the data of it, and I can just continue making my videos as normal, which is the whole point, which is why I'm doing all this. Also, you can now clearly see this adhesive. It's messed up quite a bit in places where I've jammed my card in there. This side is where the broken part of the screen was, so you can. It's quite good actually, because what happened with the screen was that the Mac actually fell off a table face forward and hit the ground on this corner. The aluminium is actually bent a little bit in this place, and that's of course where the screen cracked. But apart from that, there's nothing inside here that you can see that looks like this Mac has been damaged. So that's great. There's a little bit of dust in there. Of course, there's a little bit of dust in the fan as well, but not that much, so that looks pretty good to me. So now let's go and try take that hard drive out. And let me put this flat on its back. And let's see, these 4 screws I need to take out, and they are Torx screws. So let's see if I've got anything that will actually be able to take them out. This one is slightly too small. That one is too big. Yeah, that's coming out. That's the first one. Let's put that on the side. And that's the second one. You can see that they are different sizes. So let's get these other two out as well. And finally, the last one. It's a bit tighter. But there it's coming out. There we go. Now I should be able to take these off just like that. It's easy enough. And I can carefully lift this hard drive out, but of course it is still attached with this cable, so I have to be careful about it. To sort of get this cable out. There we go. That was easier than I thought it would be as well. And then I can just take these sides off. Oh, that's glued on there as well. I thought it was just a little bit easier, but that can come off like that. And there we go, there's the hard drive. And there we go, there is the hard drive coming out of this iMac. Now it is a little bit smaller than I thought it would be. I've got an external enclosure for hard drives, but it is to fit drives of this size, and this is obviously much larger than this one. So I'm going to have to see if that will still fit, because it looks like the connectors actually are the same size and they do line up. So I'll have to try out, see if I can fit this in there. So let's go ahead and let's put this Mac to the side. And see if I can get into this enclosure I've got. It's got these tiny little screws on the side. And then inside we have just regular screws. And then I should be able to just slide this out carefully. There we go. Now there's another hard drive already inside, so I can just take it out like that, put that one somewhere safe, and then let's see what I can do with this one. So like I said, these connectors are the same on the bigger drives as they are on this smaller one. So that looks like it can just connect up like that. Don't know if that will still fit. Well, it will of course still fit in there, but I don't know if these holes on the side of the casing line up with the screws holes on the hard drive. It looks like it doesn't. So right now it is fairly free floating in there. I don't really like the look of that. Of course this will still function perfectly just like this. I just have to plug the power in and then the USB cable in there. But ideally I would like to keep it in an enclosure just to keep it safe. Maybe I can put something underneath it so it's at least not vibrating. Yeah, so what I did here, this drive was connected in the Mac with these little rubber bits on the side. I couldn't fit both of them on, but I did put one of them back on this hard drive, and that seems to at least give it some support on the bottom there. So if I put that in there like that, and I have this assembly standing like that, the hard drive inside actually is sort of resting on the bottom of this case. So I guess that will do for now. If I just leave it like that and put these end bits back on the enclosure and get these really tiny screws back as well. So here we go. Here I've got a USB cable, and this is the power cable. So let's plug it in first in there. USB in there. Now I'm going to switch it on, and one of two things can happen. Either it completely blows up and it's completely unusable, or it's going to work. So here we go. So here we are, and it's asking me if I want to use this hard drive as a backup. No, I don't want to use it as a backup. I want to actually see if it works and if I can get my items out of this. Yeah, there we are. It works just fine. I've got all my old stuff back. So excellent. So that works, and with that at least I've got my hard drive back connected to my current computer, and that just goes to show two things. One, it would have been a complete waste to actually throw this old computer out, as the repair company suggested. And two, it really doesn't matter if you set a password on your computer, because if you get the hard drive out, you can just get all the files out as well. So anyway, that's it for now anyway. Maybe I'll go and try to fix that power supply in one of the future videos. Don't know how successful I will be at that. I know I succeeded this time in opening my old hard drive and getting my old files back. But we'll see how well I will do with other projects. So I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, do like, subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time.